Hello, this is video 3 for section 1.6 for Math0302 Beginning Algebra. We're just evaluating some expressions here, and if you've already done C, D, and E, that's fantastic. Let's check them. Negative 6 plus 8 we need to do first here, except realize negative 6 plus 8 minus a negative 4 minus 11 is the same thing as negative 6 plus 8 plus 4 minus 11. So between the first two here we have opposite signs, so we subtract largest minus smallest, so 8 minus 6 is 2, and I use the sign of the largest one, which is positive, so that's a positive 2, and then I get 2 plus 4 minus 11. Working with these two, we get positive 2, positive 4, same signs, so we add them. 2 plus 4 is 6, and I use those signs. And then I have the minus 11 there. 6 minus 11, they're opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract them. 11 minus 6 gives me 5, and I use the sign of the larger number, which is negative. So this is going to give me negative 5. Now if we look at letter D here, we have to be very careful because, first of all, you can think of that as a parentheses extra in there. But we have a big parentheses and then we have a smaller parentheses, so I need to do the parentheses within the parentheses before we do anything else. So this is going to make this negative 4 plus big parentheses. Now negative 8 plus negative 3. They're the same sign, so we add them. 8 plus 3 is 11, and I use the sign that it says. So it's negative 11. So I get negative 11 minus 5 inside this parentheses. So using the order of operations, I need to evaluate this parentheses this time. So it's going to give me negative 4 plus negative 11 minus 5. They're the same sign, so we add them. 11 plus 5 is 16, and they're both negative, so that makes that a negative 16. So really this is negative 4 plus negative 16. And again, these are the same sign, negative 4 and negative 16, so we're going to add them in their absolute values. So we have 16 plus 4. 16 plus 4 is 20. They're both negative, so that we're going to make this a negative 20. And here's your answer. Now let's look at E. E, if we remember our order of operations, PEMDAS, we have to be very careful. This is a parentheses that we need to evaluate. This is an exponent that we need to evaluate. And this is a parentheses as well. So let's do each of these. The absolute value of negative 13 is just asking the distance to negative 13 and 0. Or just think of it as it's always going to be positive. So it gives you 13 here. Now, a lot of people get this middle one confused because negative 3 squared is not the same thing as negative 3 squared. The reason why is because the exponent only acts on the very first thing to its left. And in this problem, the very first thing to the left is the 3. So the only thing that's actually being squared in this problem is the 3. So this is going to be minus 3 squared, which is 9. Now, let me write this in a different color here. Make this kind of a reddish. If we had a parentheses around the negative 3, that negative 3 would be what's getting squared. Okay, so it'd be negative 3 times negative 3 squared. Excuse me, negative 3 times negative 3, which would have given me a positive 9. Okay, so we just have to be very careful here. With exponents, we only act on the very first thing to its left. Now, plus 2 plus 7 is 9. Now, I could just do negative 9 plus 9 is 0, and that gives me 13. We'll come back to that in a second. But 13 minus 9 is what we want to do first. So 13 minus 9, opposite signs, they subtract, so 13 minus 9 is 4. Use the sign of the largest number, that's positive. So it gives me 4 plus 9, and of course 4 plus 9 is 13. Now, here's the thing. Unlike with multiplication and division, addition and subtraction, if you're very careful, if all you have is literally just addition or subtraction in a problem, it doesn't matter the order in which you do them. So here, 13 minus 9 plus 9, I could have just done the negative 9 plus 9 giving me 0. Those two cancel each other because they're opposites, and the addition of opposites gives you 0, leaving me with just 13. So sometimes there are easier ways of combining things here to get you to the answer. You can always go the order in which I've shown you, however. The reason why you can always do this is because, well, you can just always go left-right. It's not a problem. It's just that sometimes it's easier to go with different ones first.